months, there were herds and herds of deer everywhere. And
whitetail, mule deer,
mainly whitetail where this was, but where we lived on the 320, there were mule deer came right down to where the whitetail were, and in that area. We'll talk maybe a little bit about that later. But the first time I ever went hunting, there were two guys from Minnesota who said, Mike, you have got to get out there. They couldn't get their tags because they weren't in Montana long enough. You had to be in Montana, I think, for 6 months and have residency. And they weren't there long enough, but they wanted me to get out because they were such big hunters. And they just went up with me. And so we didn't even ask. We just went on this private property because I didn't know.
Right.
And these guys probably knew. But they didn't care.
Right.
And we heard later that if the rancher would have caught us, it would have been real bad. So here I am, not knowing anything about hunting, but loving the outdoors.
Did you even know where to shoot a deer?
They told me, just try to get behind the shoulder.
Okay. Right.
And the first deer that comes up, because in Montana, the first 3 days back then, I think it was 84, 85, you could get doe or buck.
Oh, okay.
The first 3 days.
Yep.
And so when I came to Idaho, they had youth hunts were like that, but not for adults.
Right.
So anyways, no hunter training, I didn't even sight the 30-30 and they just said, it was open sights. So just do your best. So these deer come, over and they're watching these deer and they're down a little ways below me. And they're watching these deer and all these bucks were coming. And I guess it was about 10 huge, like 5x5, 6x6. One was like a 7x7, 8x8, just monsters.
Only bucks you find on private property.
Exactly.
That you're not allowed to hunt.
But I never saw because the does were coming up. So I'm watching the does and they said, shoot the first one that gets close enough to you. Right. And so these does come at me and there was probably about 6 does and I never saw the bucks. They were kind of around the ridge from me. And the guys that came with me, they were down where they could see these bucks just right around the corner. So they were going, wait. And I couldn't hear them.
Right.
And so the front doe, just comes right out and I shoot it. It goes down and they're like, Mike, you dummy. Did you see all these bucks? And so I look and all these bucks are running over the ridge, after I shot. And I said, but I got my deer. They go, we don't care.
Well, that's actually a good mentality to have. Is for you, it's about I'm getting a deer. It doesn't, it's the first deer that you've ever even shot at. So for you, your mentality's good. But for experienced hunters who are watching all these, bucks that they never get to see, it's pretty devastating.
Exactly. So I had no idea what to do with that deer. They helped me gut it out, and then I brought it home and they said, well, you can kind of hang it in a tree if you want, or you can do whatever. I ended up plopping it on the kitchen table with my Canadian wife, who she was going to kill me. It stayed there for 3 days because I didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
Yeah. So
no one taught you.
No. So
why didn't those guys even show you how to butcher it?
They didn't show me anything.
Wow.
They were so mad at me because I killed a doe.
Right. They just left you.
They left me hanging.
Yep.
These guys are really funny guys.
Right.
From Minnesota and good guys. But so that started my hunting experience. But I'm a city guy. I know nothing about this stuff. So the next year, I actually bought a rifle, and I got a 30-06, a semi-automatic 30-06,
which I've never seen anyone shooting a semi-automatic.
Yeah, and nobody
rifle.
should.
Yeah,
nobody should. That's just starting out,
right?
Because the gun sometimes would jam on me, And here I am, a complete novice. I just have no earthly idea about rifles and stuff. And I did take it down to the range, and I did sight it in and do all the stuff, but I just didn't know a whole lot about it.
Right.
And so one time when I was trying to fix it, when it jammed on me, I shot, and I think I shot a deer that year. It was like the next year or the year after. It jammed on me. So I'm sitting there going like this, pointing the barrel at my head, and all this stuff.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it goes off.
Oh my gosh.
And it scared me so bad that when it went off, I threw the gun like this.
Yep.
Right. And backed up because it went right by my head.
Gosh.
And somebody should have grabbed a hold of me and said, Mike, you have no earthly idea what you're doing.
Well, I mean, it speaks volumes to I've had some friends who are idiots who've had their gun go off on them, but it's so rare if you've gone through proper hunter's education or you've had some sort of mentor, teach you everything. Absolutely. Like you teaching me, never point, even just hiking protocol. Like when you're hiking with someone, you never point your gun towards them while you're hiking, even though there's a tendency to want to do that, because it's easier or more comfortable or whatever. But pointing your gun off to the side, pointing it behind you, pointing it in any direction except where the person is. And yeah, obviously not looking down the barrel of the gun to try to fix something. Oh my God. But if no one teaches you that, you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. And, I'm really big on hunter safety now when I look back on it. And with you, I tried to be as safe as possible, with things, but still when we started hunting together and you started coming with me and stuff, it was like, I knew that I wasn't this big hunter that knew everything.
I thought you were. Until I was like 16.
It was just fun to me.